Well, for the last 15 years, Trinidad has enjoyed extremely high growth rates, but it has to be said that this has largely been due to the oil and gas market. It's moved away from oil and into LNG, and there's been soaring demand for this worldwide. So this has fueled, literally, growth. But the new administration which took over last year recognises that first of all, it's taken stock of the situation, and Trinidad and Tobago's gas supplies are probably at the current rate of production going to run out around about 2025. They're currently actively looking for and exploring new fields, but they have to now set policy on the basis that gas will run out. So the new approach obviously is to diversify the economy. First of all, it is going to try to make more of its oil and gas reserves and to add value to its LNG production. It's already one of the world's largest ammonia producers, and it intends to move into the production of melamine as well. Away from the oil and gas sector, Trinidad and Tobago has the Caribbean's largest manufacturing base. It's essentially the only heavy industry location for the Caribbean, so it intends to build on that. It also obviously wants to develop the tourist sector. It currently receives a relatively small percentage of the overall numbers who visit the Caribbean, and there are plans to develop that into the niche areas like ecotourism. There's tremendous potential in Trinidad and Tobago to develop, for example, the islands as a location for filming, and so they're actively seeking and trying to attract investment and obviously film production companies to that. They have set up a department at the university to develop a fashion industry on the island. Yachting. It has the potential to become a major yachting centre for the Caribbean. Well, energy will continue to be an important part of the Trinidadian economy. I think it's important to divide investment into two areas. Most of the investment that goes into Trinidad and Tobago at the moment currently goes into the oil and gas sector, and that is obviously done by large international oil corporations. What the government is attempting to do is to attract more investment into the non-oil and gas sector, and this is the type of investment that can actually be on quite a small scale in quite localized projects, and that may well be of interest to smaller investors. Trinidad and Tobago is effectively the Caribbean's financial services hub. There was some scares a few years ago about corruption and about money laundering, and I think on the basis of that the new government has decided to actually halt plans for an international financial centre until it's sorted, as it were, its own house out. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago's financial services remain an important part of the economy, and there is tremendous potential to build on that. For example, some backroom operations and outsourcing services as well. There's immense potential to develop that. ICT is definitely a priority for the new government to develop, and again, without overusing the term, the Trinidad and Tobago has the potential to become an ICT hub. It's developing an important park, a technological park, which will be a focus for investment in this area. Construction has been slow, shall we say. Infrastructure generally on the island it lags, and again the new government has embarked on a programme to improve that. There's a lot of traffic congestion in Port of Spain, for example, and if the island is to develop its potential, it will need to attract investment to build more roads. Trinidad and Tobago is historically a safe place in the Caribbean. It has a long and vibrant parliamentary democracy. There's never been any political violence on the island. Over the last decade, unfortunately, it has to be accepted that there has been a growth in organised crime, and obviously because of its location on the edge of the Caribbean and next to the mainland of South America, there has been the development of, it has been used as a drugs transit point, and this is something that previous administrations have not tackled. The incoming government has made a serious commitment to address this. This is something which I suppose really affects more, the standard of living and quality of life for people, from the island rather than people coming in to invest. But it will have seeped through to some extent in corruption, and this is something that the government is taking very seriously and seem to be doing something about. Because of Trinidad and Tobago's location on the edge of the Caribbean and next to Venezuela, but still being only about 4 or 5 hours by plane from the United States, and because of its historic and still considerable trade and commercial links to the United Kingdom, it is one of those places that can claim to be a crossroads or a bridge or a hub in that respect. It's a gateway for European and British companies interested in getting into the Caribbean. I think it's fair to say that Trinidad and Tobago probably has trade agreements with all the major blocs around the world, with ASEAN, with the EU, with CARICOM, which is the Caribbean trading bloc. It has a deal within the North American Free Trade Agreement, and it's obviously a member of the World Trade Organization. It's also seeking to project itself as if you like, the voice of the Caribbean, and because of its democratic credentials, I think it actually stands quite a good chance of becoming something of a sort of an interlocutor for the region as well. Obviously, British Petroleum, which operates in Trinidad and Tobago as BPTT, is a major player and has been for many years in the energy industry, and at the same time, many large European and British companies are active there. I think again, in recent years, the governments have looked more to the United States for investment and to develop trade links and for its exports. And I think that the present administration is very interested in actually looking across the Atlantic and looking to develop ties with the UK more and use the UK to develop export markets in the European Union. It's recovering, like just about everywhere else in the world, from the financial crisis of the last few years. Its financial sector weathered that storm very well. It was largely shielded from most of the problems that affected the global banking system. I think with this new administration, there is a serious commitment to develop the economy not so much away from oil and gas, because I don't think anybody has any illusions that oil and gas will continue to be very important for economic development. There is a commitment to work on the basis of oil prices at $45 a barrel, and anything above that is kept aside. And as I say, I think there is a commitment to develop smaller, localized industries, as we've mentioned, yachting, merchant marine, the film, the entertainment industry, which will importantly create employment at the local level.
For more videos, please visit www.voicesoftrinidadandtobago.com.